In our modern world, we are often told that democracy is the ultimate form of governance. It is presented as a system where every individual has a voice, where the people hold the power, and where freedom is the highest virtue. Yet, if we look closer, we can see the cracks in this foundation. The system often becomes a grand performance, an elaborate stage play where citizens feel empowered while true control remains elsewhere. The ancient philosopher Plato warned of this very outcome. He argued that democracy does not truly liberate people from tyranny. Instead, it cleverly disguises it, making the chains of control feel like the embrace of freedom. We see this today as modern democracies master the art of psychological persuasion, using media and mass conformity to guide public opinion without firing a single shot. This subtle control is achieved by exploiting the very nature of our minds. We are social creatures, and the pressure to conform is a powerful force. Scientific experiments have shown that a vast majority of people will deny the evidence of their own eyes simply to align with a group consensus. In the political arena, this translates into a herd mentality where critical thought is abandoned in favor of belonging. Furthermore, our political decisions are rarely driven by cold, hard reason. Brain scans reveal that when confronted with information that challenges our preferred candidate, our brain's emotional circuits ignite, rewarding us for dismissing facts that cause discomfort. This makes the populace incredibly vulnerable to manipulation by those who know how to stir emotions rather than engage in reasoned debate. The result is a political landscape dominated by popularism, not competence. The leaders who rise to the top are not necessarily the most skilled, wise, or analytical individuals. Instead, they are the ones who excel at the art of winning elections. Those who radiate confidence, offer deceptively simple solutions to complex problems, and resonate with the emotional currents of the time. Plato's ship of fools analogy remains powerfully relevant. The passengers on a ship, representing the citizens, choose a charismatic sailor who promises them a smooth and easy journey. They ignore the quiet, skilled navigator who understands the stars and the treacherous currents, because his warnings are complex and unsettling. This is the perilous voyage of modern democracy. To make matters worse, a significant democratic deficit exists in many nations. While citizens are encouraged to engage in heated debates over visible but often minor issues, the most critical decisions are made far from the public eye. Matters of monetary policy, complex international treaties, and far-reaching regulations are often handled by unelected bureaucrats and insulated committees. These powerful bodies operate beyond the reach of the ballot box, shaping the fundamental structures of our society without our direct consent. This creates an illusion of influence, where we pour our energy into the theater of electoral politics, while the real levers of power are operated by an unseen caste backstage, leaving us with a system that promises control but delivers only its shadow. If democracy is the political system of our age, then capitalism is its inseparable economic partner. This system is built upon a single powerful engine, the pursuit of profit. While this relentless drive can fuel innovation and create immense wealth, it comes with a profoundly dark side. When profit is the ultimate goal, human well-being and the health of our planet often become secondary concerns, treated as unfortunate collateral damage or at best, costs to be minimized. Essential human needs, clean water to drink, safe homes to live in, and healthcare to cure the sick, are not guaranteed. Instead, they are transformed into commodities, available only to those who can afford them. This logic leads to a world where providing life-saving medicine is abandoned if it is not profitable enough. The history of capitalism is not just a story of markets and trade, it is a story drenched in the blood of millions. Its rise was fueled by brutal acts of primitive accumulation. The conquest of the Americas, for instance, led to the deaths of an estimated 80 to 100 million indigenous people through violence and disease, their lands and resources seized to build the foundations of a new economic world. The Atlantic slave trade, a cornerstone of early capitalist enterprise, saw tens of millions of Africans perish during their capture and transportation, their lives treated as nothing more than entries in a ledger. This horrific legacy continued through colonial rule, where systems were designed to extract wealth at any human cost. During the era of British rule in India, for example, economic policies engineered famines and exacerbated diseases, leading to an estimated 165 million excess deaths between 1881 and 1920. In the Congo Free State, King Leopold II's quest for rubber and ivory resulted in the deaths of up to 20 million people. Even the Great Wars of the 20th century, which claimed over 100 million lives combined, can be seen as catastrophic conflicts between competing capitalist empires fighting for control over markets, resources, and global dominance. These are not isolated tragedies. They are the predictable outcomes of a system that quantifies the world in terms of profit and loss, often writing off human lives as an acceptable business expense. This devastating human cost is not merely a relic of the past. It continues today, woven into the very fabric of our global economy. Modern economic warfare, waged through sanctions and financial blockades, inflicts suffering on a massive scale. The sanctions imposed on Iraq during the 1990s are estimated to have caused the deaths of 1.5 million people, including 500,000 children, by crippling the nation's ability to provide food and medicine. This demonstrates how the tools of capitalism can be weaponized, turning economic policy into a silent instrument of death. The numbers are staggering, painting a grim picture of a system whose relentless expansion has historically required the dispossession, subjugation, and elimination of countless human beings. The failures of capitalism are not bugs in the system, they are features. The immense suffering we see across the globe is not an accidental byproduct, but a necessary component for the system's continued operation. Every year, millions of preventable deaths occur because it is simply not profitable to prevent them. It is a chilling reality that 1 in 4 people on our planet lacks access to safe drinking water, a crisis that claims over 1 million lives annually. Millions more die from easily curable diseases like pneumonia and tuberculosis because the medicine exists. But the economic system fails to deliver it to those in need. In a world of unprecedented abundance, the logic of profit creates artificial scarcity. We witness this contradiction most starkly in the crisis of global hunger. Around 3 million children die from malnutrition every year, a tragedy that unfolds while nations like the United States waste up to 40% of their food supply. This food is not wasted because it is inedible, but because it is not profitable to transport, store, and distribute it to those who are starving. The market dictates that it is better for food to rot in a landfill than to be given to someone who cannot pay. This is the cold, brutal calculus of capitalism. When we add up the deaths from preventable diseases, lack of clean water, and hunger, a conservative estimate suggests that over 10 million people die needlessly every year due to the distributive failures of this system. This global inequality is actively maintained. For the system to thrive, a global hierarchy must be enforced where so-called third world countries remain sources of cheap labor and raw materials. Their development is often suppressed, their workers' movements crushed, and their governments pressured to adopt policies that benefit multinational corporations at the expense of their own populations. This ensures a continuous flow of wealth from the global south to the global north. The comfortable lifestyles enjoyed in developed nations are, in many ways, subsidized by the poverty and exploitation of others. These are the unseen chains of the modern world, binding the fates of billions to an economic order that demands their hardship. Therefore, when we look at the world's great injustices, poverty, hunger, disease, we must recognize them not as isolated problems, but as symptoms of a deeper systemic illness. The immense wealth generated by capitalism is concentrated in the hands of a tiny few, while the vast majority are left to struggle for the basic necessities of life. The system's defenders often point to its innovations, but they neglect to mention its victims. They celebrate the rise of billionaires but remain silent about the millions who die for lack of a few dollars worth of medicine or a clean glass of water. It is a system that has perfected the art of generating wealth while simultaneously producing despair on a global scale. Where the man-made systems of democracy and capitalism have failed to provide justice and security, Islam offers a divine and holistic alternative. Islam is not merely a religion, but a complete code of life, addressing the spiritual, social, and economic needs of humanity, and envisioning a world free from poverty and want. Unlike capitalism, which prioritizes profit, the Islamic economic system is built on the foundation of justice, mandating compassion and social responsibility. Islam forbids interest, elevates charity, and commands that the best deeds are those done in secret, known only to Allah. Through zakat and duty performed in piety, Islam aims to eradicate poverty and bring true prosperity. The Prophet Muhammad foretold, "The last hour will not come before wealth becomes abundant and overflowing, so much so that a man takes zakat out of his property and cannot find anyone to accept it from him, until the land of Arabia reverts to meadows and rivers." This is Islam's vision, a divine blueprint for a world that is more just, more equitable, and more merciful for all, where poverty is eradicated and prosperity prevails.